Welcome back to On the Wild, episode number 38. We have a very special guest with us today. We have Jackson French. How you doing?
Good, man. I'm good. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been way too long. A few
Yeah,
years, I'd say, right? Like
2 years.
New Year's?
Man.
3 years.
Was it
Yeah.
New Year's?
Oh, New
First
Year's.
year?
Oh,
Yeah,
What's
wow.
the last time?
that was the last
Maybe,
time
yeah.
I saw you boys. Yeah.
Like New Year's
Yeah.
2019?
Going into
Before COVID,
2020.
times
Yeah.
were simpler back then, man. Times were simpler. Yeah.
But how we met Jackson was through high school. We went to high school together. And I'd say about grade 11, right? We were in English together, right? I
Yeah.
think.
Oh, was that
Yeah,
Ethan's class? 11? Yeah.
Casillas' class, right? Are we allowed to name drop?
Oh,
Whatever.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I
Loved Casillas.
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
great.
Great teacher, yeah.
But yeah, we got to know each other a little bit through that, and then we became pretty good friends. Now you go to Brock for sport
Yeah.
management. How's that, by the way?
Brock's fun, man. I'm in a house right now with well, I guess you guys know Caleb and Luke.
Yeah.
Mhm.
With the boys, I live with them right now, and then a couple other boys, and we're all in sports management. And it's fun time, fun program. Not too much going on right now. I mean, we're just like transitioning to the all in-person classes. It was all online last year, so we're getting used to it.
How much in class are you?
How many classes I'm in? I have 5 right now.
How many are in class though? Like, are most of them online?
All of them are in class right now. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Me
really?
personally.
Wow.
No, my roommates
Wow.
all have like an online one, but they're trying to get us in class more, but we just have to wear a mask the whole time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
True. Yeah, we just have we have like a 1 6-hour lecture and then the rest is online.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, but we're doing our NBA preview today. Season starts on Tuesday. We got Bucks, Nets, and Lakers, Warriors. Great opening night of games. But we wanted to have you on for a special reason because you actually know the Bulls GM like really well.
yeah, he's a
Getting
good
that
friend of
little-
mine and my dad's. So his name's Mark Eversley. Grew up in Canada and Ontario. Really close friends with my dad. He was best man at his wedding actually. He's got a good story with coming into the league. He just started as I was talking to my dad earlier. He started as like Kelsey's server, regular guy. Went to a D2 basketball school and studied business, and then he came back and started working at Nike. And then from there, he got picked up by Nike headquarters and then moved to Oregon and worked there for a couple of years. And then from there, he got a job offering with the Raptors and was the president of player operations. So he worked with the Raptors for like, I can't remember how many seasons, but that's where he spent most of his career. And then he got picked up by the Wizards and was an assistant GM. So he worked there for a bit, and then I think it was only 2 years, and they moved with the Sixers, and that's when he did. I think it was 3-4 years with the Sixers, but he was actually the GM, or he's assistant GM with the Sixers, and he was like watching that game 7 versus the Raps against.
wow.
Oh my goodness.
He was there live, and he's like, "There's no way this is going in," and then he got all pissed, and he was with the team and stuff like that, and then just last year he got picked up by the Bulls as the general manager, and he's been making some crazy moves, man. He's doing nuts right now, and it's showing. The preseason's looking good for the Bulls. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he
was
was
gonna say.
making a lot of moves.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the Bulls probably are the most improved team going into next season or this
Yep.
season.
Yeah.
It's just like Lonzo Ball, DeMar DeRozan, like you said, they look great in the preseason. But what do you expect for the Bulls for this season? Like, what do you think they're gonna do? Make the playoffs? Expectations?
Yeah, they have a good shot at making a run. I really like the DeMar DeRozan pickup, and when I was talking with Big Mark about I call him Big Mark. That's our like nickname for him because he's guy's 6'10", so I just always refer to him Big Mark. No, it's cool, man. He brought in DeMar to Toronto, and so they kind of been together. They've had a close relationship, and then when like the Bulls are starting up this like bringing a new lineup of young guys. And DeMar, like, he reached out to DeMar, flew to LA and brought him in. He was like instantly like that. So I like this new DeMar, Lonzo, Vucevic is a great pick too. And they got a young team.
Levine.
I think they could go with some talent. Yeah, they got
Yeah.
So
I'm curious, who do you think is going to be like their stature of scoring options? Like obviously DeMar, like everywhere he's went, he's been the number one guy. Do you think he's going to have to take a back seat to Levine or maybe even Vucevic, or where do you think he's going to stand?
I think Levine is going to be the heart of that team. To be honest, I think he's been there the longest. I think he's going to be the leader. Great position. Who else is on that team? I like that they have Vucevic is a good one.
Yeah,
Caruso even too. Like
Yeah,
that's one
Caruso's
of those
look good.
guys that can score in the night.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
that's a good thing too. I just think they got all those guys who can score. DeMar knows he can score, and he's money by the mid range.
yeah.
Lonzo is playmaker, and the team's looking good. I'm liking it. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like the first time in Lonzo's career where he's really going to be able to actually facilitate. Because with the Lakers, obviously, there was always a bunch of problems going on. He never really got a real shot. And then with the Pelicans, he wasn't really a true point guard. And a lot of the focus was on Zion. And even Bledsoe got the ball taken up a lot. So this is like, I'm really curious to see what he can do in that role.
Yeah, he was
Oh
at
no,
first.
and
They
he just
kind of kind of transitioned him into like a spot up shooter, which I mean, he's good at that, and he showed that last year. But I mean, he's great with the ball in his hands. You saw that at UCLA, and at times during his career, he shows that he's capable of being like the guy who can kind of control a team, control the pace, and kind of run a team per se.
Oh, for
But
sure.
transitioning to just general NBA talk, who do you think is the best team in the NBA currently, and do you have any surprise teams for this season? Any team that you're keeping an eye on specifically?
Surprise teams. I'd say one of the big surprise teams would be the Bulls. I
Yep.
mean, like the Lakers with Westbrook, AD, LeBron. Like that's a solid team. I'm liking the Suns though. I've always said this. The Suns, with Booker and with Chris Paul, they're a good looking team, and they made a run a couple years or last year, right? When it was in the bubble, something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they
they
went to
made
the
a run
finals
and
last year.
in the finals, yeah. So I like Phoenix, the Lakers, obviously. I mean Toronto, big Toronto fan. Not. Don't think we're gonna do it like we've done it before. I think we need a couple years to rebuild, but we do have a solid structure now with Siakam and Van Vliet still in the lineup. So
Yeah. Do you think they can make the playoffs this year? I know like that's a big question. Obviously, the Eastern Conference is much deeper than it used to be, but
yeah. Oh, I want them to, man. I want them, but I don't know if this is the year for us. I think this is like one of our rebuilding years. I think.
yeah. I don't know if this is a hot take, but I can see them being anywhere from like 5 to like 12 in the East. Just because like the year after Kawhi, they still come second in the East. They're a game away from going to the Eastern Conference. They just lose to the Celtics after a couple rough plays in the fourth. They haven't lost too many guys since then, and I think they've added pieces. Like this is a better team than I think that was 2 years ago. Because now
No,
Siakam and Van Vliet have learned a lot more. But what I like about the Raptors offseason moves, like bringing in Achua and obviously Scotty Barnes in the draft, I noticed in preseason, like they've kind of changed the way that teams bring up the ball. Usually guys are, the bigs look for the guard and they bring the ball up. The Raptors bigs are so athletic. Like they don't have a guy above 6'10", I don't think. They just get the rebound, they run it up the court, and they're good in transition. And like Achua and Barnes are shooting significantly better than they ever had in their careers. So like I see a lot of upside with this team.
yeah, they're kind of playing like positionless basketball in a way,
Yeah.
to where like it doesn't matter who it is, whoever it is who has the ball can bring it up and control the offense and facilitate if they need to.
Yeah. And like Scotty
I'm
Barnes, like
also like, yeah, Scotty Barnes and Goran Dragic are two great pickups. That's why I like those two pickups for us.
yeah, like as much as people kind of rag on Dragic for what he said in that press conference, like he's a great addition to the team, especially as a veteran. Like he was a leading scorer for the Heat in that finals run, and like the guy can put the ball in the net, and he's going to be teaching Malachi and Gary Trent, like these guys, so much wisdom about just running the pointer and being a guard in general. He's been in so many places that he's going to spread a lot of wisdom. So like I don't think this team is far off from a playoff spot. Obviously, I don't think they're going to contend, but I wouldn't doubt the Raptors this year.
Yeah, I would say
Yeah, no,
if I were to oh, go ahead, Jackson.
no, I was gonna say I can see him making a run. I don't see like in like the making the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't see them making the finals, but
Yeah.
I think they'll run. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they can make the like maybe 6 to 8 or maybe even the play-in. I guess 7 and 8 are in the play-in, but I think they can make the playoffs. I think their peak to me, if I were to predict, is the second round. Like maybe they could squeak out a win depending on who they play.
Yeah.
But I think like what Jackson said, sort of like a rebuilding, retooling sort of year, developmental year, I think is the best word to put it, best way to put it. I think they're in that phase right now, and they'll be better in a couple years as their young guys kind of develop into better to star players, I think.
Yeah. That's true.
But who do you think is going to make the finals this year? I know the season hasn't started yet, and preseason picks are always hard, but if you were to say right now, who do you have in the finals?
I'm gonna have to go Lakers. It's a have to. As much as I don't want to say it because they won it last year, but they're too deep of a team and they got too many superstars. And I like to see them play though. I want to see how Braun and Westbrook like sort of mesh together. I know AD and Braun were nice and they both had their superstar moments and stuff like that. I'd like to see how it's going to be with all three of them. But I'd have to go Lakers. From the East, I could see the Bucks making a run again.
Go back to back.
And it's a solid team. They're a solid crew, and everyone on their team can score. And with having that presence with Giannis, I think they're big. So, I could see Bucks Lakers.
I'm gonna have to agree with you there. Like last year when we were talking about these predictions, we had Lyndon on the show, and I said Bucks Lakers initially, and I let Lyndon convince me otherwise because the Nets are so good. They have such a good team around them. I bought into it and I went for the Nets. I'm going back to my original prediction. I think Lakers Bucks as well, because after winning last year, like Giannis knows he's the guy, and Drew Holiday's going to step up. Chris Middleton's like the X factor for that team, and they've gotten deeper. PJ Tucker was a huge addition. I like the Bucks a lot, and also like we know the Nets are a reality show this year with Kyrie Irving's uncertainty, and I think Harden's going to be better. He'll still be a facilitator, but I think he's going to be a lot more in a scoring role this year. Yeah. But I just think the Bucks, I think they can defend them so well, and I don't know, they just have it riding on them right now. Winning the championship this year, I think they have the chip on their shoulder to do it again. But like you said with the Lakers, they're just so deep, and it's really hard for me to bet against LeBron, especially when he's healthy. And if AD is healthy, then it's going to be super tough for like anyone. I mean, I could see the Clippers because PG showed that he can lead a team on his own, but with Kawhi back, like they're going to be super dangerous.
Well, we don't know when Kawhi is coming back, though.
That's true.
That's like the only question with them. But I'm agree with you guys with the Lakers. I think with LeBron playing more of the power forward position this year, he's going to be more of a scorer, I think. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say because we haven't really – they've played a preseason game, but preseason doesn't really mean much. But I think LeBron will take on more of a scoring load with Westbrook facilitating more and AD playing the 5. I like that a lot. And in the East, I want to say Bucks too, but if Kyrie didn't get hurt against the Bucks, it kind of looked like a runaway for the Nets to win that series. And I think Harden's better than Kyrie is, and I think Harden and KD are a better fit just because Harden's a better facilitator than Kyrie is. So regardless if Kyrie's there or not, I'm probably going to have to go Nets personally. But it'd be another close series like it was last year, like 6 or 7 games. I think it comes down to those two, but I'm going to pick the Nets, even though I want the Bucks to win personally. And then if they play in the finals, Bucks, Lakers, I would pick the Lakers. Same thing with Bucks, or same thing with Nets, Lakers. I'd probably pick the Lakers as well. I think the Lakers are gonna make a good run. It'll take a couple months, I think, for them to really mesh together. But once they get it going, I think they're gonna be a really good team.
Yeah, I'm curious also about Miami and how far they can go, because obviously on paper they look super good with Kyle in that role. But, I mean, the question still remains is Tyler Hero. I mean, he's been looking really good in the preseason, Tyler Hero, but can he progress off of last year? Can Duncan Robinson continue to shoot well? Can Jimmy stay healthy? I think at the end of the day, Bam's still their number one guy, defensively and offensively, but I don't know. They're the question mark for me. Is they're like either, they're going to fall off and be underwhelming, or they're going to just pop off right away and show that they can be a contender?
100%.
I think they'll be good, but I don't think they're as good as the Bucks or the Nets. I feel like it's a 2-team conference in the East. Like I think the East is deep, but I think it really comes down to those 2 teams.
Yeah.
And other teams like Miami, maybe Philadelphia. I don't know. They're kind of right now with the whole Ben Simmons thing. But
Yeah.
Atlanta, maybe. Like those teams could be competitive, but I think the Nets and the Bucks are just head and shoulders above everybody else.
Yeah. I think last year, obviously, injuries were the main issue, but it showed that really anybody can win. And we haven't seen that a lot since, the Warriors became a dynasty and LeBron went to the finals every year. So like this year kind of feels like, obviously you look at the Nets and the Lakers as the top 2, but there are a lot of teams that can jump up and be scary. Like obviously you said the Suns, they could come out of nowhere. Who knows how much Booker's progressed now that he's got that finals experience, and Paul has a year under his belt on that team. Same with Ayton now that Ayton, you can see he is a much better player than he was a season ago, and he can be even better now, maybe with more of a scoring role. So
yeah, the Suns have that, like you said, that continuity. It matters.
Yeah.
I think that they're gonna be the number 1 seed personally. The Suns are. So with that home court, I think that you always have a chance no matter who you are. And I think that, like you said, that experience that Booker and Ayton have now, along with Chris Paul and the role players like Cam Johnson, Cameron Payne, Jay Crowder, they have a great team over there. And I think Mikal Bridges, he's good too. So they'll be up there for sure, I think.
Yeah. I'm curious to know, Jackson, who would you put as your MVP frontrunner or frontrunners as well?
For like last season or
for
this
year? Like who do you think is
for this NBA season?
I think it's gonna take it away. What we were talking about the Nets. I really do like Harden. I think Harden is gonna step up this year. If Kyrie comes back, if he doesn't come back, I think Harden's one of those players that he's unguardable. And realistically, he's one of the top 3 scorers in the league, and that's hands down. But yeah, I would say Harden. I could see Braun doing something this year when near the end of his career, and I'd probably go one of those 2. I want to see Giannis again. Giannis, I love it when Giannis just steps up and is one of those players that scores 40 a game and just takes over and has big dunks. Like he's an exciting player to watch. I think that would be cool if he took it away. But I think out of those 3, I think it'd be Braun, Harden, or Giannis for MVP.
Yeah, that would be insane for Giannis's legacy if he could get a 3rd MVP just after winning Finals MVP. Like,
yeah,
I couldn't imagine. Like he's already top 25 all time, and how far does he rank up after that? I mean, it's debatable, but yeah. On another note, though, I guess I don't know. It really depends on what value in a player.
Yeah. I mean, his legacy's already set. Like whatever he does from now on is just kind of the icing on the cake. Even though he's only in like year 6, year 7.
Yeah, 26 years old. Like,
yeah.
But with LeBron, like I could see LeBron and Harden, just like you said, taking it. The only thing that kind of holds them back for me is just because they're on these super teams. Like obviously, if Kyrie's not there, then the Harden argument's really good. But just like the guys around LeBron, I feel like that'll hold him back a little bit. Mm-hmm. For me, I'm looking at either Luka or Tatum to take it. Because one, like we've been talking about Luka for the last couple of years, can he finally do it? I think this year is maybe when he doesn't start off slow and just comes out of the gates hot. But Tatum, I mean, as you know how much I love Tatum. Like,
yeah, you love Tatum.
Yeah, now that they don't have
team sidesteppers.
Yeah, now that they don't have Kemba at point guard, like they don't have a ball dominant guy there, they're gonna have Schroeder there. It's gonna give Tatum a lot more chance to bring the ball up and to isolate a lot more. Obviously, Jaylen Brown is a much more dangerous second option than he used to be. So I'd watch over Tatum in that conversation.
Yeah,
I love Tatum too.
Yeah, 100%. He's on.
I'd probably pick Luka personally, because just based on the way he looks coming in, like I saw something on Instagram last week about his media day press conference and just how he looked, and he just looks in a lot better shape now than he did last year. Maybe that has something to do with it probably has something to do with COVID and just the restrictions, but he looks good. He's looked good in the preseason so far from what I've seen, and I think he if he gets on a good start, like last year he struggled to start the season. Like he was still putting up stats, but he was shooting a low percentage from three. He just kind of looked like he was still kind of like figuring it out. I think the Mavericks have a little bit of continuity. I know it's a new coach, but Porzingis is healthy. Hopefully he can step up a little bit from his disastrous playoffs. But I think Luke is going to take it personally.
Yeah. I would also say I like Joel Embiid. I think in the upcoming years, I think Joel Embiid's going to be one of those guys that he's already in talks for top 10 in the league. And I think in the upcoming years when he gets that more experience, because I know he came into the league and he was injured his first 2 or 3 years. He wasn't even playing as many games as he wanted to. And he's one of those guys that can shoot the ball, that he's a defensive monster, as we've seen. And I feel like he's got that play style kind of like Jokic, where he's like a big man that's so versatile. So I think Embiid can make a run in a couple years, and he'll be a part of the Docs. Yeah.
Yeah, for like the first half of last year, I think he was the front runner, and then Jokic kind of took over a little bit. Obviously, I think Curry finished second in voting. But yeah,
I think the reason Embiid fell off, but just fell out of the race was because of injuries. And that's always been the biggest thing for him. It's just the injuries. The talent is there. He's obviously the most dominant center. I think him and Jokic, it's always, who's the best center, but I think Embiid's more dominant.
Yeah.
And that's always been his thing, but it's always injuries. He's always injured at some point. And that kind of holds him back. Yeah,
I think he's going to have a good case for it this year because obviously he's going to come out and play. He'll be able to average an absurd amount of points and rebounds. And defensively, I think he could win Defensive Player of the Year this year as well. But with the uncertainty of Simmons in that organization, it'll make his case a lot better because if he can block out all the noise, and, there can be all these problems, but if he stays consistent and he puts them in the top 3 seed, which we know he can do, then there's no reason he shouldn't be able to take MVP home. Even if his statistics aren't the best, we know, what he did for his team and how valuable he was to the Sixers, or is.
Right. I agree.
100%. Well, yeah, so I was just talking with my friend the other day, and he was just saying that, like, the whole Kyrie thing, that with he's hurt, but we were talking about, like, the dynasty that the Nets can have, and it's just that if OKC were to stay the same as what they were with Westbrook, Harden, and Durant, would they have been one of those super teams? But I agree, like Harden's one of those guys where he went to Houston and he built his strengths, his power. That's why he became MVP. He built that status, and so I don't know if he would have got that same shine if he stayed in OKC, but it would have been sick to see a team like that because those 3 scorers together, and we saw Westbrook and Durant when they stayed in. And the stuff they could do together. So I think it would have been cool to see them through.
Yeah. Harden definitely would have had to take a step back, but I think we would have seen, because they all grew together and were drafted together, they would have already had all that chemistry that, other super teams, they have to build that when they join each other because they have to, they've all had great careers in different places. Once they join together, they all have to kind of take a back seat to their egos, I guess. Check your ego at the door and go, okay, we're trying to win a championship. I can't be putting up 30 a night. Whereas if you're all building a team from the start, like you already know each other's values and what each other bring to the team. Like OKC could have been super dangerous. They could have won a lot of titles, and the Warriors wouldn't have been the dynasty they were. Obviously, they would never have gotten Durant, but it would have been nice to see that Western Conference clash every year between the two of them because, 2016 was crazy when it went to Game 7. So,
yeah. I think it would have been a cool dynamic because at the time, Harden was coming off the bench before he got traded. So maybe he could have been that sort of Manu Ginobili sort of player coming off the bench, closing games. But it would have been definitely interesting. I think they would have won at least 1 or 2 championships at least.
I can see
depending on because that would really change history. Because like you said, he wouldn't have went to Golden State. And who knows what happens because they would be playing LeBron every year. Because I don't think that would change.
It would have been a legit LeBron versus KD final because obviously we saw it twice, but when LeBron was with the Heat, it was overmatched against the young Thunder team, and then when KD goes to the Warriors, LeBron's overmatched. He doesn't have Love and Kyrie there a lot of the time, and he can't do it all himself. Well, he did do it all himself. He almost averaged a triple-double, but being able to see KD in his prime and LeBron in his prime against each other, both with good teams behind them, I think it would have been crazy. It could have been the greatest finals we've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I always look at as the biggest what if. Like, I know we always talk about like the Derrick Rose injuries or what Portland could have been without, Odin and Roy going down, but the Thunder 3 staying together is the biggest what if to me.
Yeah, I would say that too, because it was just changed so much. And it's just, and that the fact that they all came in together, like I know they didn't get drafted the same year, but they all kind of grew up together and they kind of broke it up before any of them really got into their prime.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad, to be honest.
It is.
Maybe one day.
They reunite.
Yeah, maybe.
Trade
You never
Kyrie
know.
for
You never know. Everyone's just going around switching teams. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I actually doubt that we'll see Westbrook and KD back on the team.
Yeah, it seems like they've
That'd just be cool.
broken up the beef, but I think there's still like a lasting anger in Westbrook, which rightfully so.
I think there's like that competitive sort of like whenever like off the court they're fine, but when they play each other, he's gonna think about like, oh, you left me.
Yeah.
What was it now? 5 years ago?
Yeah, five. Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
I mean,
like 5 years, but yeah.
It is crazy to see because like you know for Westbrook, it's like if he doesn't leave, we have a chance to win titles. But because he left, he had a chance to win an MVP. So his legacy was greater because of it. But at the same time, like Westbrook values winning as you want from a player. So that's what I like about Westbrook, at least. Like he gets a lot of hate, but at the end of the day, he wants to win.
He plays hard every single night, and he's one of the only like superstars who really does that. Like you see LeBron, even if he plays, if you watch him play, like sometimes he'll take a night off and like be nonchalant about things, be very passive. And you see Kawhi with the load management, and that kind of goes all around the league. But Westbrook comes to play every night, and he doesn't what's the word? He doesn't leave you hanging. I don't know.
Leave you hanging? Yeah, like he doesn't take a possession off. He's going to give you 100% all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But before we get to the trivia, I know Riley wanted to talk about the Browns a little bit. The game against the Chargers, close one, heartbreaker.
Yeah, my little bit, maybe not as much of a rant as a news last week, but I got a problem with the American media currently looking at Baker Mayfield. Listen, all right, I know he's not an elite quarterback. We all know that. So I think we need to stop comparing him to the Patrick Mahomes, Herberts, Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, whoever's of the league. We need to, we have to have these like columns where we look at an elite quarterback and then a good quarterback. Yeah, put him with the Matt Ryans and the Kirk Cousins of the world. Obviously, I think he's below Matt Ryan. I think he's been balling lately. But to say that Browns loss was on Baker Mayfield, I think is pretty absurd. I mean, he threw for over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, had a better passer rating than Herbert in that game. And it really came down to the defense giving up 47 points, and you ran the ball on 3rd and 10 with a chance to move the chains. Obviously, me and Anuj talked about this a bit. If you want to run out some clock, run the ball first 2 downs and then throw on 3rd instead of passing on 2nd down and then stopping the clock. You basically gave the ball right back to the Chiefs or the Chargers, just like you did the Chiefs earlier in the season. The Browns consistently play too conservative in the second half after getting a lead, and a lot of the onus is put on Baker when – at times he hasn't showed up to play, but in that game, that was not his fault in any shape or form.
Yeah, because when you're in that situation, how much time was left? 2 minutes? When you got the ball back?
2.5, I think, yeah.
Yeah. So you run on 1st and 2nd down, you run out clock, but if you pass on 2nd down and you don't, and there was an incompletion, you kind of have to run on 3rd down now because you have to run at least a little bit of clock. You don't want to give them, over 2 minutes because they have a 2-minute warning as well. So you run on the first 2 downs, and if you have to pass on 3rd down, most likely it would be a more manageable down if you run on the first two downs, especially with the Browns running game. Get it to like 3rd and 6, 3rd and 5, and you see what you can do from there. But yeah, I think the coaching was a bit questionable. But I mean, the Browns have proven that they can hang with the good teams. They just have to finish games, which is part of it. But I think they'll get there eventually. Hopefully, I picked them to win or go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
But even on that last drive, a couple Hail Marys in, the thing is you got to throw to OBJ. You have to throw to OBJ. He got 3 targets in that game, and obviously he struggled a bit. But here's my take on this before we go over to trivia. with this whole OBJ situation, it's not his fault in any shape or form. Is it OBJ's fault? He's not the personality that he once was on the Giants. Since coming to the Browns, it's been quiet. The problem is Baker, and it's the two's chemistry with each other. It's like Baker wants to be looked at as this top dog, so he can show that he can do it without OBJ, so he can give it to Landry and the tight ends and the running backs. And to me, it's not, the Browns needing to trade OBJ. I think it's OBJ needing to say, okay, I need to get out of here for my legacy and for my happiness. Like, I should not be playing in Cleveland. And I think they can get a good return for him at the same time. But yeah, that's my little mini rant.
I don't think they're going to get a lot for him now, just because we all know that Odell is still a really good player. That's not the question. It's just his production hasn't been high, which will lead to them not getting as much.
Yeah. But the one thing I do look at is like he is open. When you look at those plays, when you look at it from Baker's perspective, he's open a lot of the time. He's just not looking for him because he wants to show that he can do it himself and be that guy. And I think that's a problem. You never want that on your team. You want him to be like Josh Allen looking at Stephon Diggs going, yeah, I got you. I'm going to get you this ball. Like with Rodgers and Adams. That should be Baker and OBJ. Obviously, Baker's not as matched up with those quarterbacks, but those two can be a dominant duo, and they haven't. In 3 years, it hasn't worked. So I think you got to move on from it.
Yeah, I agree. I think after the season, they're going to get rid of them.
Yeah,
because their cap situation too. They'll free up $15 million, no dead cap. It just kind of makes sense for both sides. Mm-hmm. But we're gonna move over to trivia to end the show. How this works is we're gonna ask you 5 questions about things that you like. Based on what you've told us, and see how many you get right. The high score is still 4, right?
High score is
Alyssa?
4?
I think
4.
So.
Yeah, 4 or 3.5. 4,
yeah, Alyssa got 4. I remember that.
It was the lowest one.
1.
It
was Coov with 1. And he barely got 1.
I think we gave it to him.
Yeah. He was in the ball.
Yeah, but we'll start off with a pretty easy one, I think. In what year did the Raptors acquire Kyle Lowry?
Ooh. That's an easy one. Let's go. I'm gonna throw it a guess and say 2014. That was the first thing that came to my mind.
It was not 2014. It was 2012. I thought it was 2014. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That was the first thing in my mind. I was trying to think of like that 2016 finals and then how young. Oh, I guess it. So he was on the team for 8 years.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to basketball here for this second one. Can you name the last 5 NBA Finals MVPs?
Last 5?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be in any particular order, but
okay.
Easy that way.
All right, so I know Curry.
Curry's never won one.
Curry's never won one?
I gave it to Iguodala, but we'll give you a restart.
Okay, we'll scratch that. Let's go.
Look at it up.
Yeah, don't include Iguodala though.
Okay, we won't include Iguodala. Well, Durant.
Yeah.
Braun.
Yep.
Giannis.
Yep.
That's 3. That's 3
out of 5. Almost there.
No, Iguodala. I think was Braun win it twice?
Someone did win it twice.
One did win it twice. It wasn't Braun. Oh, so Durant won it twice.
Yeah, and then the last one.
Oh, you get this one first.
Yeah, I thought this was Braun. I thought this was guaranteed.
You thought I'd get this one for?
Yeah.
Oh, Kawhi, man. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I like skipping all. I was trying to finals like a couple years ago. My own team, man. Oh,
did you go to the parade?
No, I didn't end up seeing it. I watched on TV. Yeah, I wanted to go though.
Yeah, we went. It was crazy.
It was nuts. Van
Van
Vliet handed me champagne, and some guy took it from me.
No way.
Siakam sprayed champagne on us. Oh wait, no, you were on the other side.
No, I was there. I got a video of it too. And dude, greatest video I've ever taken in my life because I was wearing an OVO shirt that day, and Drake was running by, and I was screaming, Drake, and he saw me with the shirt, and he did this. Greatest moment of my life.
That's actually insane though. We're all from Toronto, and I've never seen Drake, and it's like a one thing I want to do in life. It's just I just got to see him one
Yeah.
time.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but speaking of Drake, my next question is about him. Your favorite Drake album is Nothing Was the Same.
Loaded, yeah.
How much did Nothing Was the Same sell in its first week? And I'll give you a 50K range.
50K range.
Yeah, so if you're like 50K off, I'll give it to you.
Ooh, let's think. First week's game.
This is probably the hardest question.
I was back in 2013. Just nothing. Let's go 250K. 250.
I'm gonna give you another guess because it's Drake. Think it's high. It's really high.
It's high. I was just trying to think like back in it. Oh, okay. I'd say like 600K. I'm not thinking it's going above that, is it?
I'm gonna give it to you because it was 658. I'll give it to you.
Yeah, okay.
658K.
That's insane.
And that's not even highest selling, bro. Views sold 1 million.
Views was just a different breed of a year, 2016.
That was his peak probably in terms of popularity, right?
I think we were in like grade 9. I remember when that album dropped, everybody like went to lunch and was listening to it.
Yeah.
Like
I don't even like it that much, to be honest.
Personally,
I wasn't on it.
But I love all Drake's music, to be honest. I can't hate it.
Yeah, it's not that I dislike it, it's just that I don't like it that much, like as much as Nothing Was the Same or Take Care.
But Nothing Was the Same. Nothing Was the Same. Take Care. Even CLB.
That's what I'm saying. I've been saying that too. CLB slept on.
Yeah, it's not been out long enough, but man, it's doing numbers for sure.
Would you say CLB was better than Donda?
Yeah. I have to give it to CLB. I listen to both. I listen to Donda when it dropped too, and I like the different sounds on Donda, but like I said, I listened to every single Drake song for like from front to back. And there was like one song where I was like, maybe I won't add this to my playlist. And I think it was one with Cudi. I liked the song. I didn't vibe with it. Every song.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
That's what we said. That's what we said. We said it was kind of like awkward. It felt kind of awkward.
Is that the first time he's ever done a song with Cudi though?
Yeah.
So,
I think so. Yeah.
They were beefing not too long ago, like a few years ago.
Oh, really?
Mm. Remember he took a shot at him. He was like, "You were the man on the moon now," something like that. I don't know. But move on to Riley's question.
Yeah, we'll move on to number 4 here. I know you're a big Suits guy with the show. I love the show as well. So, as I'm sure you know, Harvey and Mike work at a law firm. So for the better part of the show, and it's changed the name countless times. What was the initial name of the firm when the show began?
Ooh. Now, okay, is it like when they even do flashbacks, like that name? Like
No. So like episode 1, like what was on the wall?
Episode. Okay.
Yeah.
So I know Pearson's in there, and I'm trying to think of that other guy's name.
Yeah.
One guy. Is it only 2 people that were on people at the time? So it was,
I can tell you no. That's at least a good thing.
You can tell me no.
Or I can tell that you know what it is.
I know. I know who it is because he comes in later season and then he comes back into the firm, and that's oh my god.
Yeah. The name is the receiver on the Chiefs. If you know any of the Chiefs receivers.
I don't know. I don't know his name. I can't remember it.
The answer is Pearson Hardman.
Pearson Hardman. Oh my god. Yep.
That guy was a douche, eh? Holy.
I love
it. Was he 2 for 4?
2 for 4?
Yeah, 2 for 4.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna get this one because you're a huge Drake fan, and this is another Drake-ish question. It's a finish the lyric. We did this with Kuv, and it was a disaster. He said his favorite artist was Pop Smoke, and it just didn't go well. But the lyric is, "After hours at Il Molino, or So To, just talking women and vino. The contract, like,
91 Dan Marino.
got it.
I'm a big Dolphins fan too, so that's like
Yeah, I had to incorporate that.
Oh, that's all. Love this song.
It's my favorite Drake song.
Yeah.
I'd say yeah.
Yeah.
Pound Cake.
Pound cake. Yeah. I'd say either Pound Cake or Fire and Desire in mine.
Yeah, from that album too, From Time is one of my favorite all-time Drake R&B songs. It has to be.
There's not a single song on that album that doesn't slap, in my opinion. I like
even All Me with Big Sean. I remember growing up to that song. Just
yeah.
Big Sean comes in.
Wu-Tang Forever. It's just a great album. Just go deep.
Yeah.
I even like. I was saying this to someone else that the intro to that album with Tuscan Leather is one of my favorite intros.
Yeah.
I love all the Drake albums, but like when he comes with Tuscan Leather, when he comes in and just spits.
He raps like a record 4 different ways, and I'm like, okay, this is the greatest thing ever. This is great.
Yeah. I mean, he always kills intros and outros. That's a given.
Yeah. CLB's outro. That's why I don't know if there's more albums come, but the outro on Remorse was beautiful.
Oh yeah. It sounds like a retirement, but I don't think he's retiring.
I hope not, because it sounded like he summed everything up and just kind of laid it on the table. I had to listen to it again right then and there. I replayed the song.
Mm-hmm. I think we're gonna wrap it up right there. Thank you so much, Jackson, for coming on today. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below, and we'll see y'all next week. Take it easy. Stay wild. Oh, I just said yours.
What are you doing, man?
Oh, oops.
No, dude.
Take it easy.
I say peace all the time by accident, so
take it easy.
Stay wild.
Peace.